Hello and welcome to today's video on high altitude investing. Today is going to be a Bitcoin and altcoin price overview. And if you are new to those, then I basically just run over the market and give you my opinion on where they are going. It's very subjective, of course. This is just how I see these chart patterns, so keep that in mind. But this is what I think is going on the Poloniex markets and cryptocurrency markets in general. So let's get right into it here. All right, so first we're gonna go off with XMR here, which in my opinion, after it made this big run and kind of tested this support level again, I feel like we're going to see some more support testing. I don't think it's just going to make a perfect trend line. It's very possible that we come test this 38% or the 0.0109 Bitcoin range. And the reason I say that is just because it fell off of this resistance pretty hard. And you have to remember that Bitcoin is what it's traded against. It's a XMR to Bitcoin pair, so you have to remember that if Bitcoin runs up in value, which I believe it will, then altcoins can take off some of their value due to that. Not every time, sometimes they go up with Bitcoin. Alright, now let's look at Ethereum. Ethereum is doing something very awesome today. Basically, since it kind of bottomed out around here, I've been weary of buying it. I wanted to kind of see what happened. This right here really scared me when it started to drop off like this. I kind of figured that it was just a little pump out for its downtrend, but that's not the case. I mean, it's up almost 11% today. It has ridiculous volume. We're almost at 10,000 Bitcoin in volume. And we've seen a nice pump, a nice breakout of its bottom resistance zone. Its bottom resistance was 0.00, well, I guess this is support, 0.011. So it broke, it broke high from support, and it's looking really nice. I expect a nice trend up inside of Ethereum in the next little while. So it's what I've been keeping my eye on. Definitely a good coin. All right, Made Safe. I have been trading this one too. It looks really, really good. Basically, it came up and hit its first resistance level. Perfectly natural for it to drop off a little bit after that. But this trend is looking incredible, and so I feel like Made Safe is probably going to be one of those coins this year that performs extremely well. So I've been looking at it, I've been buying it. Short term, I wouldn't buy to go long. Short term, it might come test some support. That's usually what they do. Probably suspect around the 0.00015 to 0.00159 range, somewhere around there, for it to catch resistance and keep going up. But long term, this is an incredible time to buy. Long term, this is a super cheap point for this coin. So Made Safe, definitely a good one to look at. Something interesting is the good old Ethereum Classic today. Is actually up to 2%, which surprises me considering the fact that it basically its value is very, very determined by the value of ETH. So depending on Ethereum's value, Ethereum Classic it's very correlated. But it's up, it's up a little bit. It's hard to say exactly where this coin is going, because if Ethereum keeps doing what it's doing really nice, it's going to be hard for ETC to hold its value over it. I still have a little bit, about 5 ETC, just holding it, waiting to see. Really what I'm looking for is if it was to break below this bottom right here that it made. If it breaks below this bottom, then I would definitely consider ETC done with what it's doing. Probably done for good. Um, but that's very debatable. We'll see. There's nothing to say that they both can't coexist. Now, Ethereum looks like it's probably going to overtake it right now. So my views on that has kind of changed, finally given me a pretty good reason to trust Ethereum over ETC as far as an investment goes. As far as my political views and moral views over it, I still think Ethereum Classic has something going for him. Now, let's look at Factum. But yeah, generally I think ETC will probably break a little bit lower and Ethereum will keep going up. Now, Factum is one that I feel like is kind of underlooked and will probably perform phenomenal this year. And I'm looking at it right now, and it's tested this 50% support at 0.0031. Um, it made this V shape right here, which is a very, very big bullish signal. Usually means it's about to take off. And this is one that I'm holding long on. I feel like Factum is kind of underlooked and underbought, but it won't be in the future. Um, I definitely see a huge move up in Factum soon. So be watching out for that one. I'm personally buying and holding, and we'll see where it goes from there. A couple things to mention with it is with Factum you have partnerships with some pretty big names like Microsoft and things like that. So it's important to know where your investors are in these types of technologies because that will greatly drive the price. All right, now I'm just going to go over two more coins here. Bella coin is definitely looking good, like really, really good. This V shape right here is a huge bullish signal. So this is telling, the market wants to go up. There's a little bit of selling out. These are probably people that have been holding for a long time and are trying to get out, considering there wasn't any other upswings in the market. There hasn't really been any other price movement like this. But this is a nice, steady, continuous uptrend, and it looks excellent. So I definitely think that Bella coin is a great buy, great hold, and is gonna have a huge swing in value here very soon. So definitely one to keep your eye on. Now I'm actually gonna sell some of my Dash, and the reason for that is because I bought in like around here, and so I've made really, really good gains on my Dash investment. And I am going to put it inside of Bella. So let's sell. Sold my Dash. All right. Now, normally I wouldn't put money inside of a coin that's up 12%, but it really doesn't matter if you're still going to make money. So I trust that this coin is going to go up enough that, and I know that I can hold long enough that, because my favorite motto is hold, buy and hold, buy and hold. If you can buy and hold really, really long, you're probably set. And if you do sell out, make sure that it's in profit. There are a few exceptions. You don't want a coin to dump off really, really, really hard, like basically something to happen that would cause it to never ever be used again. Basically, if the coin hits zero interest, so nobody's interested in it, then it's it's perfectly okay to be selling out then, because you don't want to lose all your money in that investment. So let's see, I'm buying 287 Bella, 128 of that was instantly filled. There's some nice buy walls here. It'll probably swing down a little bit, but long term, this coin is looking excellent. All right, one more for this video, Pascal coin. Now this is one that I'm holding and had some pretty interesting price movement recently. So all-time Bella, pumped up. Let me switch to 4 hours since it's a pretty new coin. I mean Pascal, excuse me. All-time Pascal made a nice little pump up here and dumped off since then. It's pretty expected for it to pump and dump like that after that much interest. And look how sharp that curve is. It's a really sharp curve up, so you'd expect a pretty hard drop off right there like it did. And then it's just been kind of balancing out since then. Nothing crazy in the market until this happened. I started buying some Bella and some Pascal, and it swung clear up right here. So that caused me to just hold really long. It might be down 7% today. It actually looks to me like a pretty good buy spot. But yeah, I'm thinking that this coin, especially long term, this coin is going to be very valuable. And it could be a very good time to start buying it up right now. So this right here is a pattern that Bitcoin made when it ran up to 500. Let me switch over to Bitcoin here real quick. So Bitcoin ran up to 500 and then made this little hump formation and then kind of came down. Not quite this drastic. This is a little more drastic than the way Bitcoin did it. But the concept is still applicable. Now let's go over to Bitcoin here. See, it came up and ran like this and made this little hump formation. Now Bitcoin caught leverage a little harder because it was preparing for the halving that happened, and that's what caused it to make this nice swing up. But it probably, if the halving wasn't going to happen, it probably would have came down a little bit like that. And that's what we're seeing happen in Bella coin, is this swing up, this little hump over, and then it's coming down a little bit. But I'm holding long on Pascal. Excuse me, I keep calling it Bella. But yeah, so that's a few of the cryptos I'm watching out for. One other I wanted to mention real quick here is Litecoin. And the reason I mention this coin is they're doing some changes to it. Segregated witness is right now, miners are voting for segregated witness on the blockchain. We have about 75% activation threshold. We have a 7% miner support. So when I first looked at this, it was just under 1%. So we've had quite a few people decide that they want to start mining on the SegWit chain. So if enough people start mining on segregated witness for Litecoin, then we will see a soft fork happen, and segregated witness will be implemented into Lightning Coin. So that's what I'm looking out for. Hopefully it happens. If it does, then I expect a very strong swing up inside of Litecoin, considering its downtrend that it's been on and the fact that it has a lot of good price potential, and a lot of price potential because of how much it was worth. This candlestick down right here was a lot of people getting into the Litecoin market, and I think that it kind of had to come test this wicking area, and it looks like it's coming down and testing that wicking area. I don't think it will go all the way to the bottom of it. It's very possible, but it does look like a pretty good time to be buying in on Litecoin. There's a lot of this movement. It's basically indecision in the market. The market says, oh, I want to go down, and it's like, no, I really don't want to go down. This huge pump up right here that happened on December 23rd, and then the market goes down again and then pumps up. It says it doesn't want to. Market goes down and pumps up again. market comes down, and so I wouldn't be surprised if Litecoin comes up and pumps again. It just basically looks like it's preparing for inversion in its trend. So by that I mean it's been downtrending for a long time, and I feel like it's going to invert to an uptrend. So that's what I'm looking for in Litecoin, and especially if SegWit gets activated. Now let's do a quick overview of the market capitalization. Number 1, of course, we have Bitcoin. 2 is Ethereum. 3 is Ripple. 4 is Litecoin. 5 is Monero. 6 is Dash. Ethereum Classic is 7th. Made Safe is 8th. New Economy Movement is 9th. And Augur is 10th. And so our biggest gainer inside of this top 10 would be Ethereum. And right next to it is Made Safe coin. So we are seeing pretty nice movement in these markets right now. Our biggest loser is Ripple at just, 0.12% loss. So we're seeing a pretty healthy upswing in these markets. Nothing crazy on the volume yet. Volume is still pretty low. Well, it's high. It's high, it's higher than it usually is. But we've seen some bigger volume here recently. We have a market capitalization of 19 billion, 44,956,051 dollars, a 24-hour volume of 174,548,920 dollars. Bitcoin's dominance is up at 85.3%. And let's go ahead and look at Bitcoin too. I almost forgot there. Can't forget the king. So yeah, basically what's happened in Bitcoin is China. China has been attacking Bitcoin. The funny thing is if you try and regulate and attack something that can't be regulated, it basically drives it. So is short term, it might look bad on the markets, which might scare a bunch of people or whatever. Long term, it's actually good for Bitcoin to have these types of attacks, because it just proves that it can't be it can't be messed with by the government. So let's look here, or any third party for that matter. So Bitcoin came up and hit its big resistance over 1,000. We've all heard that. Brought a lot of people interested into it. Came down to the 735 range. So that was a pretty quick little dump off it made there. And then we saw this nice continuous trending up after that. And right here, this is where, see these slow moving averages, these lines in the background? The purple line and the blue line and the orange line. These lines are slow moving averages, so it's basically just an average of the price movement in the form of a line. It's an indicator. I'm going to be making a video on indicators for beginners soon, but see how when Bitcoin gets really close here, these slow moving averages are all touching each other, how it pumps up really hard afterwards. And then the slow moving averages are starting to get close here again. That's something I've been really paying attention to. It usually means Bitcoin is going to go up. Now, I think Bitcoin, of course, is going to continue uptrending, doing what it's doing. I don't think much can stop it. And I really don't see much, testing. I highly doubt that we see a test of this range again. It would blow my mind if Bitcoin went down to 700 again. It wouldn't surprise me if it came and tested the center range at about $900, but honestly, it looks like it did a pretty good healthy retest of the 935 range, and I see a continuation of this trend. I'll point out a couple more things about that slow moving average. See these slow moving average lines right here, how they're all really close, and then it pumps up right there. And then slow moving averages lines right here, extremely close again. It pumps up. So that's basically what I look for, is those slow moving averages to get really close together. Here's again, this one actually had a crossover, which usually means an inversion of a trend. So we were trending down in Bitcoin, then we had a crossover of slow moving averages, and that's what caused the market to pump since there. So that's what I'm thinking in Bitcoin right now. It looks like an incredible investment. Still holding long, and that's pretty much everything for today's video. There's a lot of correlation in the price movement. They all dumped off when Bitcoin did right there, when there was the big China stuff that happened, which, by the way, the reason it happened was just because they froze the funds, which, by the way, never keep your funds in exchanges if you don't want to risk losing them. If you don't want to risk losing your crypto, put it in a hard wallet and do hardware storage, or software storage on your computer with something that can't get viruses, i.e. Linux. Really, it's just safer to keep, if you don't want to risk the exchange losing, shutting down or freezing your funds, it's safer to do that. But, they account for 25% of the Bitcoin volume, and you freeze those exchanges and Bitcoin barely even goes down. It basically nothing can stop it. Yeah, I think everything is looking great, and that's my market roundup today. It's the 14th of February, so I will probably make one towards the end of this month again. And generally, I'm going to be doing market roundups and price overviews about twice a month is what I'm shooting for. I used to do them weekly, but I feel like there's not quite enough movement in these cryptos to do that weekly, and it would be more beneficial for me to keep making tutorials instead. So be watching out for my tutorials, and you can go ahead and check those out. They're very informative. If you have any questions, if you want to know about the Poloniex graphical user interface and how to use Poloniex, you can go ahead and watch my video on that. And yeah, I appreciate you guys' time. Thank you for watching, and as always, stay profitable.